Welcome back, everybody. It is true what they say. Money won is a heck of a lot sweeter than money earned. Ain't that the truth? I just gotta, what's funny? I don't know if anybody else had this situation happen with FanDuel, but I've been trying to use FanDuel for the past couple years. Usually I use BetMGM, Bet Rivers, or DraftKings, but FanDuel, I just happened to download the app and it actually finally verified my location for the first time in years. First time it ever did it, so I could actually use FanDuel because I wasn't sold on the Super Bowl until the Super Bowl was set. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's just go ahead and I'll deposit my $10 because you had to make a $10 deposit, place a $5 bet. And if that team won, then you get $200 in bonus bets. And it was funny because when I created the account, somehow I automatically got a $20 bonus as well. So I don't quite understand that. So I took the $200 it gave me and I put it on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. And I got the $220 payout. Of course, with the bonus bets, you don't get the 200 back. It's not a $420 payout as if you would have bet straight on it. But, hey, it's their money. Let them go for it. Because I just bet in order to get the $200 bonus, I just went to college basketball and I just bet on a team that was like a 20-point favorite. I was like, thank God they won. And this bet here, this is always the smart way to gamble. I went on here and I was pretty sold the Chiefs were going to win. But when I had Man United, I had the St. Louis Blues, and we had Ivory Coast. All of these picks were on my Patreon page before the games were played. They were on there the prior night. And and I thought to myself, okay, if the Chiefs win, I'm already going to be set to win 220. So when it got to overtime, and I'm thinking, if they did happen to lose, why don't I just cash this motherfucker out and guarantee I come out ahead? That's always the way you want to gamble. Had I not cashed this out, the $30.14, because $10 was from the deposit I put in, $20 was the bonus bets. The $20 bonus they gave me, and then the 14 cents was what I got for like the 20-point favorite winning. So I just said, you know what, I'll put that into the 14 parlay. It would have paid $1,400 if I didn't cash it out. I cashed it out for like $258. But you know what? I don't look at it and say, I could have had an extra $1,200. I look at it as I got $478. Winning is winning. If you're the type of person that would say I got 258 and I could have had 1,400, you need to not be gambling. You need to not be gambling because I knew I was already in the driver's seat with the Chiefs. I thought, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just cash this out. I'll take my money. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let's talk about why this all went down. And I'm not going to spend too much time on the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I say, all you got to know about the Chiefs is that Patrick Mahomes, again, Joe Montana won Super Bowls 23 and 24 with the Chiefs. Tom Brady won Super Bowls 38 and 39 in the 2003-2004 seasons. And then 19 years later, Patrick Mahomes, who's the new Tom Brady, goes back-to-back in 2023 and 24, just like Montana did in Super Bowls 23 and 24 when Joe Montana wore the number 19 with the Chiefs and Mahomes becomes the first quarterback to go back-to-back since Tom Brady 19 years ago when Mahomes is a new Tom Brady. But there were a couple of other games here that were interesting. In the Premier League, if you've followed this page for an extended period of time, I always talk about how they sync up the Super Bowl and the Premier League every single year. And notice the Manchester United, they won this game 2-1. It was a heart thumper. They won it like the 85th minute. They beat Aston Villa. And notice this was the 58th game all time, the 58th all time match between Man United and Aston Villa in the Premier League just happens to be on the date of Super Bowl 58. And in the language of Gematria, notice how Manchester United sums to 179, like Patrick Mahomes, born on 17/9, like Man United wears red, like the Kansas City Chiefs wear red, like 179 is the 41st prime, and Super Bowl sums to 41. Man United got their 41st points of the season in this game. So that was fitting. And here's something interesting, too. If you followed my video a couple years ago, I put it out before the knockout stage began on why we liked Senegal to win the Africa Cup of Nations. So I'm 2 for 2 in decoding this and nailing the Africa Cup of Nations. We thought Ivory Coast would win this over Nigeria because Nigeria, I want to show you this. Nigeria stayed on 58 wins. This game was on the date of Super Bowl 58. And I want you to see how Ivory Coast won and got their 172nd points in the tournament all time. They also got their 48th win, like how Ivory Coast is 48. They won the Africa Cup of Nations with their 48th win. But check this out. A lot of you guys, you might, again, if you're an NFL historian, you probably know Christian Okoye. Christian Okoye was a running back for the Chiefs in the late 80s and early 90s. They called him the Nigerian Nightmare. He was Nigerian born. And notice Christian Okoye is 172, like Nigerian Nightmare, like Kansas City Chiefs. And Ivory Coast beat Nigeria, getting their 172nd points on the date of Super Bowl 58 against the won by the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And check this out. Christian Okoye, right? He was born August 16th. Notice how from his last birthday, his 62nd birthday, to the date of the Super Bowl was 179 days. And there he is, right? Number 35 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He played under the Chiefs when they had Marty Schottenheimer there. Couldn't win in the playoffs. So the St. Louis Blues, this was a pretty easy call, right? The Blues get their 58th points on the date of Super Bowl 58, defeating the Montreal Canadiens, right? Again, if you don't know about the NHL, you get 2 points for a win, 0 for a loss, 2 for an overtime loss. So 28 times 2 is 56, plus 2 is 58. People think that's a conspiracy theory, but trust me, if you know mathematics, that's 58. Now, here's what was funny about this. And honestly, I really thought the day this happened that this was going to be the Super Bowl. Because if you guys remember this, you'll remember Deadspin, which is like woke as fuck. They're one of the biggest communist publications in all of the world. But they were crucifying this 9-year-old for blackface, right? Where they show a picture of this 9-year-old with his face painted in Kansas City Chiefs colors. They only show the black part. They don't show the other side of his face. The other side of his face is red. And if you go on Deadspin, their Twitter page, and look at their pinned post, the replies are they are getting absolutely crucified, which is what all these left-wing communist publications deserve anyway. Bunch of scumbags. But anyway, the name of that kid, Holden Armetta, his name sums to 58, like Super Bowl 58. And this happened right. The article was written the following day, November 27th, which we're going to get to. But this story was written right after the November 26th game between the Chiefs and the Raiders, when the Chiefs beat the Raiders with 58 combined points in the stadium that's hosting Super Bowl 58. So again, the Chiefs, and notice the Raiders, they fall to 5-7. That's a number that connects to championships. But check this out. Night of Pride. I want you to see how Night of Pride sums to 131 like Super Bowl. Notice it's 77 the small way. And from the date of that game to the Super Bowl was 77 days. And the reason I was thinking when this happened, it would probably be the 49ers. And I should have put out the video and just said, hey, this is going to be the Super Bowl. But was because, Night of Pride. When you think of all these faggots and losers in society, what do you think of? You think of San Francisco, right? The Castro in San Francisco, one of the most emasculated cities in all of the United States. You could argue that maybe the gay capital of the U.S. is New York, but San Francisco is is a very close second. So we'll leave it there, guys. There's more to all this, but if you're interested in signing up for my Patreon, links in the description. Of course, the next big one will be the Stanley Cup playoffs live stream. Of course, we'll be doing that probably in late April. We do know the start of the playoffs now. The playoffs are going to start. They're going to start April 22nd. So probably going to do the live stream on either April 20th or 21st. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Till next time.